Hello YouTube. Ranty Riley has posted this video on behalf of his friend Ranty. It would appear. I can't see it on Ranty's channel. The title page, Miles Davis Does Tell Lies. Well, I am human, and I would be a liar if I told you I had never told a lie. Everybody tells lies. Anybody who tells you they never tell lies is probably lying to you. So I don't have too much of a problem with this. Although I do wonder. I've used the word Lily because other people have used it to describe Anthony, and I probably shouldn't actually. And I've also called people a liar, and perhaps I shouldn't do that. But it's annoying when you know you're being lied to. Anyway, let's get to the content of this particular video because, well, the content is rubbish. This whole story is about a video that Ranty posted, and the original video has a let Ranty explain a little bit, because he actually goes back to the beginning.
Well, I thought it's about time that I address this issue, and it is in regards to I'll call him a gentleman called Miles Davis, and he has made a series of videos calling me a liar. So in this video, I'm going to address those claims and see whether or not he is correct in the assertion that I am indeed a liar, or is it a fact that indeed he himself is the liar. Now, this all started when I uploaded a video to basically show the boats on the horizon, or the vanishing line, whichever way you choose to call it, and the refraction and vanishing properties that that area of air has. So I uploaded a video, and the premise was to look at the video, not the description. However, that simply got overlooked by Miles Davis, who decided to go on the offensive with I've
got to interrupt there. You post a video and you post a description alongside the video. To suggest that you shouldn't look at the description is just ridiculous. People put in the description facts that are pertinent to the content of the video, and in your video the content in the description originally said one thing, and at some point later was changed to say something else.
The change that I made to the description within an hour of uploading the video.
Now, he says it was done within an hour. I cannot disprove that. And I'm not going to say that he is lying on this occasion. But I do find it very unlikely that it was changed within an hour. And my recollection is that it took longer than that.
And what had happened was I had uploaded the video and sent a link directly to my friend, Ranty Riley. And he came back within 5 minutes and said, "Are you actually sure that that is the Bibby Wave Master 1?
So, let's examine what Ranty has just said. He says he posted a video and sent a link to Ranty Riley straight away. That's possible, yeah, he might have done that. The video is, you can see here, 4 minutes and 4 seconds long. So allowing Anthony to be pretty quick on the on the mouse will say that it took him 4 minutes and 10 seconds to click on the link and start the video and to listen to all of it. That's if he got Ranty's notification immediately, absolutely instantly, and opened it straight away and acted upon it. So the video doesn't mention the Bibby Wavemaster 1. The video mentions 2 ships and strange things going on at the horizon. So Anthony had to not only watch the video, he had to read the description as well. He then, for some reason, was immediately able to question whether one of the vessels was in fact the Bibby Wavemaster 1. Now, it's possible that he knew all about this video footage beforehand, and that he had done lots of checking and lots of research and had established that it was not the Bibby Wavemaster 1, and wanted to let Ranty know. However, what Ranty says is that he comes back and asks him whether he's sure it's the Bibby Wavemaster 1. So that suggests that Anthony is unsure whether it's the Bibby Wavemaster 1. Well, we're not told why Anthony is unsure. We're just told immediately upon finishing that video, he says, "Are you sure that that's what it is?" That question is not responded to by Ranty with a "yes, I am sure" or "no, I'm not sure." But Ranty says to himself, "Oh, I better go and check." Now, the question you've got to ask yourself now is, why did Ranty post that it was the Bibby Wavemaster 1? That's pretty specific. I mean, that's identifying not just the type of vessel that it is, but exactly which vessel it is. Why did he post that with the video, in the description of the video, if he wasn't sure? Very strange thing to do. And then immediately upon being challenged, to say, "Oh, actually, I'm not sure about that. I better go and check." We are then led to believe that within, well, I don't think Ranty has mentioned this yet, but he then claims that he did some research and he changed this assertion within an hour. So we've got posting the video happening, and then within 5 minutes, Anthony has looked at the video, responded, questioning. Ranty has thrown out whatever previous research he had done that led him to believe it was the Bibby Wavemaster 1, and has gone and done more research and been able to disprove, or to his own satisfaction, convince him that it's not the Bibby Wavemaster 1, but instead utterly convinced now that it is a crab boat. And then all of that happens within an hour, and he goes in and changes the description. Now, I find that quite surprising, and it could happen that fast. Maybe it did. Again, I'm not going to call him a liar. I'm just going to say that doesn't sound very likely. So the video in question is one that shows an unusual looking vessel or pair of vessels. And at first glance, it certainly looks a bit like a boat with, I'll see if I can find a still from the video so it's easier. There we go. Okay, so at first glance, these are wind turbines in the background. Okay, so this is not part of the boat. And at first glance, it looks like a vessel where you can see the hull, and then the hull disappears, and then you can see part of the back of the boat. And that may in fact be what we're seeing. But Ranty's claim is that this missing element here is due to some bizarre effect that happens at the horizon. And it shows how you just can't trust anything that happens at the horizon. It doesn't look right. Now, in order to substantiate such a claim, you need far more evidence than just this picture. But the question that needs to be asked is this a perfectly reasonable observation? Ranty originally asserted that this was the Bibi Wavemaster 1. I assumed, rather stupidly it turns out, and I don't mind admitting being stupid or making silly mistakes. I assumed that he'd done some research and he'd identified the vessel accurately. I mean, after all, he was making quite a dramatic claim in his video. You know, part of boat disappears. That's a pretty dramatic claim. So you'd think he'd have identified the boat. Now, I then went and looked up the Bibi Wavemaster 1 because I wanted to see if there was some way we could explain this differently to part of the boat disappearing. And I looked at the boat, at the ship, and I thought, looked for pictures of it, and I thought, hang on a minute, there's several of those online, and I thought, hang on a minute, it's not that difficult to see that sorry, something else just bleeped off. I got interrupted there. It's not that difficult to see how this could have occurred. The Bibi Wavemaster 1 has two elements to its superstructure. It has a bridge, and it has a gap and some superstructure at the rear. And if this front portion was the bridge, which is largely white, and the rear portion also appears largely white, if that was what we were actually looking at, and most of the vessel, the hull and so on was below the waves, then, below the horizon at least, not below the waves, then that would explain what we're observing. And so I posted a comment on Ranty's video to that effect. Now, Ranty claims that the description had already been altered at that point. I don't think it had. Now, I don't subscribe to Ranty's channel, so I wouldn't have got a notification that he posted a video. It would be rather surprising if I had seen this video within a few minutes or within an hour of him originally posting it. But that's possible that I did. I just happened to be having a look, and it appeared somewhere on my YouTube recommended videos or something, and I clicked on it to have a look. But it is surprising, it is another sort of surprising coincidence that I happened to see it very, very early at that moment when it, 1 hour, when it actually had the Bibi Wavemaster 1 mentioned. I posted a comment saying the Bibi Wavemaster 1 can explain this. You don't have to have magic disappearing bits of boat. You can explain it. It's quite simple. It's quite straightforward. 2 parts of the superstructure, rest of the boat below the horizon, or obscured by refractive whatevers that flat earthers like to talk about. Now, you know, we can argue about that, but I was, you know, posting a comment to say the Wavemaster 1 can explain this observation without this sort of magic disappearing bit. And Ranty's response to that was, well, no response. I expected that sometime there would be notifications appearing that, you know, people responding to my comment and saying, I don't think you're right, or I do think you're right, or Ranty coming back and saying, you know, you're wrong, you know, because you know, that's definitely the front part of the hull, or whatever, you know, the sort of thing that goes on normally. But I didn't get any responses to that. And I went back to have a look at what the discussion was on the video, and actually it attracted really very little interest. There are very few comments even now on the video. But I was a little surprised. A flat earther had, not flat earther, another sensible person had posted a comment to say that they thought it was perfectly reasonable and could be explained, and I posted a reply to their comment, and they hadn't responded to me either. So I decided that I would check. Now, this is several days after I posted my comment. And I decided I would check whether the comment could be seen from another account. And it turned out it couldn't be seen from another account. And so I posted, or got a friend to post, a comment stating that he was a bit naughty for deleting my comment. And nothing much happened, I think, for probably about a day, and then I thought, I'm going to check on that one, see if he's deleted that one as well. And at the time, I'd been having some issues with Ranty Riley deleting comments as well, and not admitting to it, and then finally admitting to it, and so, well, no, this is, you know, maybe this is just, they just decided to delete me, you know, delete any comments from me. Fair enough. They can do that if they want. So I checked another account. It turns out he deleted that comment as well. So I posted a third one, and, you know, or from a third account, and that was deleted as well. And I thought, this is very strange. Why is he so determined to not have this perfectly rational explanation?
Superstructure.
Pardon me. The perfectly rational explanation for the observation deleted from the comments. And I thought, you know, I must be onto something with this Bibby Wavemaster 1. It must be, you know, really clear that this is the Bibby Wavemaster 1, and it really, you can identify the superstructure perfectly, and you know, he doesn't want it published. So I checked that I'd actually got the name of the boat right, and that's what made me go back to the description. And I went back to the description and noticed that it had changed. The description now said that it was a crab boat, and not the Bibby Wavemaster 1. There was no explanation for why he had done this. None at all. No sort of comment to the effect that he made a mistake earlier and he corrected it. Now, he says that correction was done much earlier. I don't know whether it was or not, because I hadn't gone back and looked and checked the description. But upon noticing this, I decided I would make a video because I was annoyed. I had comments deleted. I hadn't been particularly, sort of rude or scathing in those comments. I'd been a bit sarcastic because I tend to be. But nothing that I thought should cause any real offence. And so I posted a video. And my video said that he deleted comments, which he had done. And I said that this had convinced me even more that he must be trying to hide the facts now that it was the Bibby Wave Master 1. And I explained why I thought the Bibby Wave Master 1 could explain what we were observing. Then I can't remember exactly what happened, but I think the next thing that happened, and this I believe was on the 1st of December, Ranty was on one of Nathan's debates, and I happened to notice that he was on the debate and notice that you can actually just join the debate. And he was showing this footage and claiming that it showed things that were impossible on a flat Earth. And I'd examined this video of his quite carefully, and everything seemed to fit perfectly with a spherical Earth. And so I challenged him about whether the why he changed the description in the video and why he was trying to hide the fact that it was the Bibby Wave Master 1. And I called him a liar because he was saying it's not the Bibby Wave Master 1. And he was pretty adamant it was not the Bibby Wave Master 1 at that point. And then time ran out on the debate and we weren't able to continue. Now, I was away in France at this time. And I was going away the next day or something. I can't remember exactly, but the time frame was. But I had to think about what the situation actually was, and I started to do some research. He seemed very, very adamant it was not the Bibby Wave Master 1. So I did some research. I'll be honest with you, I was trying to prove it was the Bibby Wave Master 1. And I found it, although superficially I could line up the bridge and the aft superstructure with this, it didn't quite seem to really match. It's a little bit difficult to make out this area here. It's a bit fuzzy. I can't tell if there's a turbine blade involved, and I was struggling a bit. And I looked up the Bibby Wave Master 1. I wanted to double check that it really was there at the time he said. It's a wind turbine service vessel, so no reason why it shouldn't be the Bibby Wave Master 1. So I did some research and I discovered that it wasn't the Bibby Wave Master 1, or almost certainly wasn't, because of the history of that vessel, which was built and launched. It was launched in March of 2017. It had been built, obviously, in the run up to that. It takes a while to build a boat, and they've done sea trials in the Black Sea. It had been built in Romania, done sea trials in the Black Sea, and then had been commissioned, delivered to the company that were going to use it or own it in August. And that seemed to me a little bit odd. Ranty's pictures were, he claims, taken in June, and the EXIF data on the photographs, because I think these photographs ended up getting shared with Red's Rhetoric. He had a hangout with Red's Rhetoric, and a Google Drive or a shared drive was posted or something, and I was able to get hold of the pictures and look at the EXIF data, and it turned out they were taken on the 20th of June, I think, in 2017. So that was sort of maybe after the sea trials had happened, before the delivery to the company. So it's kind of possible that it had gone to the area off Liverpool, Blackpool, to the Barrow and Furness kind of area, to the wind farms there. But it didn't seem very likely, and so. And Ranty seemed absolutely certain that it was not the Bibby Wavemaster 1. So I kind of thought, well, it probably isn't. And I started looking up shipping data that you can get online from a number of sites, and trying to track, tracking data and stuff, and trying to work out what ships were in the area on that date. And this is where it gets quite interesting, because Ranty, having not responded to comments earlier, did actually respond to my videos. And at no point, the responses to my videos, I think, were after I decided it probably wasn't the the Bibby Wavemaster 1, and I already published a video saying that I didn't think it was the Wavemaster 1, but that there were perfectly good other explanations for it. Anyway, Ranty posted here's a screenshot. These are the this is a comment section from this video that I posted, and I get a notification that he's posted a comment saying, "You even got the wrong date when I filmed it, you Burke. I state categorically in Red's Hangout when this was taken. You're way off, pal. Go back to school." Which is an odd sort of comment to make. And there's another one to one of my other videos. Again, wrong date, you Burke. Wow, you're retarded. I asked him here, why did you delete your comments saying I had the date wrong? There they are. My video stated that if it was the Bibby Wavemaster 1, then it was a perfectly reasonable explanation, and so on and so on and so on. He deleted these comments. Why did he delete those comments? Well, he deleted those comments because the EXIF data on his photographs, I need to get the right, later on, this is the same thread. You should see, where it says, why did you delete your comments saying that I had the date wrong? My video stated if it was the Bibby Wavemaster 1, then a perfectly reasonable explanation. And then a little bit later, I say, come on, Ranty, why have you gone so quiet? Please explain why the EXIF data on your photos says the 20th of June 2017, if that was not the date they were taken. So I claimed it was the 20th of June, and the EXIF data on the photographs claims it's the 20th of June, and Ranty twice challenged me saying I got that date wrong. Now, surely Ranty knows when they were taken. I suppose we could call these two comments mistakes. And he realized they were mistakes, and so he deleted them. But all he had to do was respond and say, I made a mistake. But no. he deletes them and then ignores it, and ignores a question. Give me the real date and time, I ask, so that I can find out what it was you photographed, because I'm interested now. I want to know what those boats are, what those ships are that he's seeing. So I'm not going to say those are barefaced lies saying I got the date wrong, but that's as close to a lie as you're going to get without actually being a lie, because you must have known when you took the film, and therefore you must know that I got the date right. And to challenge me and say I got it wrong seems to be rather strange. Anyway, we've got to a point where we've both acknowledged that it's probably not the Bibby Wave Master 1. I discovered that there were many other vessels in the area. There was a tug that was deemed to be towing at the time. And so this could conceivably be a tug towing a barge. So the tug steaming away from camera here and a barge or something behind it being towed. It could be two vessels. It could be a crab boat, as Ranty says, in which case this would be the prow, and the crab boats tend to dip down, or small fishing vessels. I think calling it crab boat is probably slightly wrong, but small fishing vessel. It could dip down below the horizon, and the waves be such, it could be in a trough of a swell there, such that it's obscured. To me, it doesn't look like that. Other than superficially, but it could be. Bottom line is we don't know what that is. And the very moment that I became aware that it wasn't the Bibby Wave Master 1, I published a video explaining why I considered it to not be the Bibby Wave Master 1, and still challenging Ranty on his assertion, without any evidence whatsoever, that there is a section of the vessel missing. In order to make that assertion, he needs to know what the vessel is, what it looks like in normal circumstances, be able to line it up and show that there is a section missing in the picture. And he's unable to do that. And that is, it's too strong to call that a lie, but it's not unreasonable to call it a bit dishonest. So that's what actually happened. Now, Ranty has made a Ranty video, and I'm making one now, so nothing wrong with Ranty videos. We all do them from time to time, or lots of people do. He spent half an hour going through this, taking every opportunity to call me a liar that he possibly can throughout the video. Now, I have called him a liar in public, on debates and so on, because I felt that he's been lying to me and to other people, and so that's, calling someone a liar. Fair enough. If you have evidence that they are being dishonest, fine. But I've watched this whole video all the way through, and at no point anywhere in this video can I find any moment where I have lied. There are a couple of points where Ranty gets the timeline slightly, it's not wrong, but he's not looking at it in a straightforward way. And there are a couple of times where he makes an obvious mistake, and he assumes I had knowledge that he had changed the description before I did have knowledge that he changed the description. He's forgetting that screenshots that I posted were taken at the time I made the videos. They weren't taken at the time I posted the comment. But there's no evidence in this video that I have lied. I'm happy if I've made a mistake. I'll put my hands up and say I made a mistake. It probably wasn't the Bibby Wave Master 1. I made a mistake. I accepted Ranty's word for it. That's fine. I have no it doesn't matter to me whether that is the Bibby Wave Master 1, another boat with 2 bits of superstructure, 2 boats, a big boat and a little boat, 2 little boats, whether they're 9 miles away, 29 miles away, or 9 feet away. What matters is what they actually were and whether that image tells us anything at all about the shape of the Earth. In my opinion, it doesn't, and it doesn't tell us anything about mirage effects and refraction effects and other effects at the horizon either, because we can't identify the boat. Because we can't identify the boat or boats, then there's nothing much we can do and conclude from this. I challenge Ranty. You find somewhere where I have lied. Now, let's define lie for you. Lie means knowing what you are saying is false, but saying it anyway. Let's say that again. You know what you say is false, but you say it anyway. You have a deliberate intention to deceive the person you are speaking to. And at no point in this video do you show any situation where I have intentionally tried to deceive someone. At the time I stated it was the Bibby Wave Master 1, I thought it was. Now, I was wrong in that opinion. I was wrong to make that assertion that it was definitely the Bibby Wave Master 1. But it doesn't mean I was lying. It means I made a mistake. And as soon as I discovered I'd made that mistake, I published a video explaining why I thought it was now a mistake, showing the evidence. You never have. You have left, you just simply changed Bibby Wave Master 1 to Crab Boat. At some point, you made that change. You made no explanation. You didn't respond to my comments saying, I've checked, it wasn't the Bibby Wave Master 1, it's a Crab Boat. Can you explain that? You didn't do any of those things. You deleted comments. You acted in a kind of a way that made me very suspicious of what your motives were. I thought your motives were that you were trying to conceal it was the Bibby Wave Master 1. Why would you want to conceal that fact? Well, the obvious reason is because it would blow your thesis out of the water if it was the Bibby Wave Master 1. So I kept on that particular narrative until the very first moment when I realized that it was not the Bibby Wave Master 1. And immediately I published a video. I found out I was researching where the Bibby Wave Master 1 had been and what it had done, and I thought, hang on a minute, it's probably not that boat, that ship. And as soon as I came to that realization, I I went live on YouTube and published a video saying, got it wrong. It's not the Bibby Wave Master 1. It doesn't matter that it wasn't the Bibby Wave Master 1 because it could have been a whole bunch of other things, because at that time I'd already discovered various other vessels that were in the area. And I think made another video just clarifying that position. So I now have 2 videos out there saying I made a mistake. And you're calling me out for being a liar because I said something that I believed to be true at the time, and yet I've admitted my mistake. What's the difference between what I've done and what you did with these comments? You made a comment telling me I had got the date wrong. You made a second comment, well, this one first and this one second, telling me I'd got the date wrong. And then you deleted them. And when I asked you, why did you delete your comments saying that I had the wrong date? you didn't respond. You didn't reply. You didn't say, oh, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I thought you got the date wrong, but actually you've got it right. No. So I'll accept that could have been an innocent mistake on your part, that you thought I'd said one date when in fact I'd said another date, and you responded and then you checked and then you thought, oops, I got that wrong, and you deleted your comments. Fair enough. You deleted them quickly enough that they didn't appear in the stream, and that's how I noticed you deleted them, but I still had them in my notifications. And because I was very wary about you deleting stuff at the time, I took a screen cap of it. I've called you a liar, Ranty, in the past. I'm prepared to withdraw those allegations that you have lied, even though I have examples where I don't think you have been honest. And not being honest and being a liar are not exactly the same thing. I've got examples where I don't think you'd be very honest. I don't think you'd be very honest over Blackpool Tower and the Mirror Ball. I don't think you've been entirely honest about several pictures that you've posted and claimed certain observer heights and wanted to ignore the effect of tide, or been questionable about how accurate you've been with your observer height or how accurate you've been with distances. Okay, now at the time you made those, I thought that you knew exactly what you were doing. I thought you were being deliberately deceptive. But perhaps I've been too harsh. Perhaps you just made a mistake. In those situations, I find it difficult to believe that you just made a mistake, but I'm prepared to think, okay, well, maybe you have just made a mistake. I'll do the same thing with your assertion that you changed the description in your video within 1 hour. I don't think I can prove otherwise. I do have access to another computer, and I remember using that other computer when I was making these earlier videos, because it has it's in a different place and it has a couple of different programs on it, and yeah, I think I used a different computer. If I've got a screen cap that has will have a date and a time associated with it, and we can check exactly when your video was posted, then that would be very interesting. If you did not change that description within 1 hour is your claim, then that is a lie. You're deliberately trying to deceive people by claiming something you know not to be true. If you did change it within an hour, then you're telling the truth, and that's fine. But regardless of whether you changed it within an hour or not, you have no idea when I noticed that you changed that description. The earliest time that I had already noticed was my first video, and my first video was published 5 days after your video was published. So I made that video because I had just noticed the thing that annoyed me. The reason for making the video, the thing that annoyed me and it says so in the video, was the fact that you had not only deleted my comments, but you had also changed the description. And that was the first time I noticed that. My reading of that situation was that your change to the description was to be deceptive, to try and avoid people thinking that this was the Bibby Wavemaster 1. It's as a result of me thinking you were being deceptive that confirmed in my head that it probably was the Bibby Wavemaster 1, and for the next couple of days I certainly thought it was. A little bit later I realized I had been fooled, I'd made a mistake, and I corrected that. Please tell me where I have lied, where I have been intentionally deceptive. I'm just sort of wittering on now, and I don't want to make the point again and again. Anybody else who's watching this video will be bored to tears by it, I should imagine. This video is really made just for you, but I'm going to leave it public because I think it's fair enough. Your video calling me a liar is public, so I'll post my response to that in public as well. As I say, I'm prepared to withdraw allegations that you have been intentionally deceptive. However, the situations where I've accused you of being that have been ones where you have made very blatant errors and have not been as open in your how you have dealt with being shown or being challenged about the errors you have made. And if I can give you some advice, you probably don't want it or won't take it, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, is be open and be honest. If you make a mistake, just say, sorry, made a mistake. Me making a mistake about the Bibby Wavemaster 1 by accepting your initial post and being convinced by the way you were behaving that it was, that doesn't affect the shape of the Earth. Makes no difference. Okay, the Earth is a sphere unless someone can prove it's not. All the evidence anyone has ever collected shows it to be a sphere. I have seen plenty of flat Earth videos. The latest ones, Anthony's from St. Bees, that we've been debating for a long time now, for weeks, claiming all sorts of things about the Isle of Man. It turns out that these videos just confirm that the Earth is in fact a sphere. They are exactly what would be predicted on a spherical Earth, and nothing at all like what would be predicted on a flat Earth. And the same goes for your Blackpool Tower videos and photographs and so on. What matters is what is true. Now, it's possible to come up with various thoughts about light bending and through different layers of atmosphere and different densities of mediums and so on. It's possible to come up with a flat Earth explanation for some of the observations that you and Anthony and others have made. those explanations defy what we know in terms of physics of how light behaves. So would this boat. If this is a single vessel without a big drop in its hull line here, then it's part of that vessel is obscured from our view by some strange light bending effect. That defies what we know currently about light. Now, and it's the same with all the flat Earth explanations for boats disappearing over the horizon, for things coming into view, for bits of land being obscured from the horizon, and so on. You can invoke all kinds of very strange effects and say, well, this must be happening or that must be happening if the Earth is flat. That's fine. You then have to show that you can get light to behave in that fashion. And that's where it falls down. You can't show that light reflected from a ship suddenly vanishes. Two ends come towards you and the other end vanishes, disappears somewhere. You can't explain why, with a good telescope, you can't see much further than just to the horizon. Effectively, the bigger something is beyond the horizon, the further away it is, and you can still see part of it, but everything starts to disappear from the horizon onwards. Unless there's some refraction going on, and then things do sort of loom up. But essentially, you don't see Ireland from St. Bees. Flat Earthers have to explain that. You have to explain why you can't see the flat part of the Isle of Man. A bit just to the north of Ramsey, before you get to the low hills a bit further on, are completely invisible in your photographs, in Anthony's photographs. Why are they invisible? What causes that effect? And if it's some kind of refractive effect, well, let's do some optical experiments, or get somebody to do some optical experiments, or persuade somebody in a research lab, that there really is an optical effect going on here, and show how it works. That's what the flat earthers have to do. Ballers, as you call us, we are following what the accepted model is. If evidence is presented that appears to contradict that model, then we are interested in it, because we want to find out whether the model is correct or must be changed. Whenever evidence is presented that contradicts that current model, it must be accurate. If it's a photograph, you need to present the observer height, you need to present accurately the water level if it's taken over water. Ideally, you want to know the temperature on the day, and you want to know the temperature of the water on the day. You want to know the air temperature and the water temperature. You want to know the tide, you want to know the swell on the sea, and you want to know the height of the object that you're actually photographing in the distance. And maybe the width of it, and other factors. You want to know whether it's moving towards you or away from you. All of that information is required in order to say whether or not that evidence supports the standard model or contradicts it. And if you make a single mistake in that evidence presentation, then any conclusion that is drawn is going to be incorrect. So if you get your observer height wrong and you conclude, there you go, that can't work on the standard model, you can't come to that conclusion. Your observer height is wrong, and you can't therefore draw any conclusion. So this is why when you're presenting evidence, people will challenge, and people will, if you make a statement where I was at 9 feet and above sea level and I saw this and I shouldn't be able to see that, so the earth must be flat. Someone then turns out and shows you weren't at 9 feet. It doesn't do your case any good. So be open, be honest. If the earth is really flat, then the evidence will be there. It will be available. All you have to do is take pictures and show, gather all the detailed data that you need and show that it really is flat. If it appears to be curved and spherical, like Soundly's photographs and videos of Lake Pontchartrain, then that fits with all the data and all the models and all the photographs of Earth from space and everything else. It all fits together. It just gets added into the weight of evidence that supports it. It should still meet the same criteria of accuracy, but because it conforms, many people will not challenge it to the same degree because it conforms to what is expected. It seems to conform to what's expected, so why challenge it? Now, people like Soundly have been very thorough. He's taken accurate heights, he's done observations on multiple occasions, different weather conditions, different orientations, and so on. He's been as thorough as he can be, and he's been as open about presenting that data as he can be. And when people have challenged it, he's always responded to those challenges, and often gone and made another video. This is and taken more footage and done more experiments. He's found another location, not just Lake Pontchartrain, but also the Little Tensas Bayou. It shows the same effect. That effect is also seen in the wind farms off the northwest coast of Britain. Anthony has published a video showing it, and Al has published videos or photographs showing the same sort of thing. And I wonder why we don't see so many of your videos pointed at the wind farms, your camera pointed at the wind farms saying, look, they all look the same height, or no, they don't appear to be the same height the further away they go. They seem to get lower down, but I think that's due to a refraction effect. And here's why I think that. Here's what I think is happening to the light. Be open. Come up with an explanation if you can. If you're going to disprove the spherical Earth, you have a massive amount to do. There's huge body of data. All the geodesic surveying that's ever been done confirms the Earth is curved. Okay, there's currently a yacht, some yachts sailing round near the Arctic Circle, just sailing around Antarctica at 60 degrees south or something like that. They're going to complete that journey in about 100 days in a sailboat. On a flat Earth, sailing around Antarctica, around the edge of this circular flat Earth, if that's what you think it is, it's going to take a lot longer. It can't be done in 100 days in a sailboat unless there's some weird magic going on, strange sort of teleporting portals or some bizarre relativistic effect about time and distance and speed and so on. Who knows? So in order to verify a flat Earth, a massive amount of work to do, and you've got to start with something that is really accurate and really precise. And when you say things like I was at 9 feet, or Anthony's case is saying it's 35 feet, and actually it's probably nearer 35 meters for one of those, people will call you a liar. They won't mess around with saying you made a mistake. They'll say you're lying, because you seem to have a vested interest in wanting to push the flat Earth, not to find out whether the Earth is flat or not, but to say it is flat. Here, I can prove it. And you can't at the moment. Now, if the Earth really is flat, it's going to turn physics completely on its head. It's going to prove a whole bunch of people are liars, and that people have been systematically lied to for years and decades and centuries. So it would be massive. It would be huge. But is it ever going to happen? That's the question. You've got to go and find the evidence. If you really think the Earth is flat, you've got to go and find the evidence and respond to challenges. And if someone is calling you a liar, prove them wrong rather than just trying to call them a liar back. That's the 5-year-old child's way of doing things. Instead of calling them a liar in response, go and prove why you're right. Go and show why you're right. And that they are wrong to call you a liar because you're correct. You've made an accurate measurement. You've made a precise observation, and you can verify it. Okay, I've ranted enough. I'm going to leave this whole video up. I'm going to post this whole rant, no matter how long it is, up. And hopefully, Ranty, you and your friend Ranty Riley will see it and respond in hopefully in a reasonable, rational sort of way.